Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2025 release Ash. It's a Shudder exclusive and it's coming to Shudder on Friday, June 20th. So this is a no spoiler review. Now, I had some people who had reached out to me through the comments on my YouTube channel and kind of said, I'm so excited for Ash. I cannot wait to see Ash when it hits Shudder. So I would say to those people, it kind of depends what you're looking for with a film. I'm just going to tell you up front, it is light, super, super, super light on story, but it is heavy on cool visuals. So if you saw the trailer and you're like, oh man, those visuals look amazing and that's all I care about with this film, then you may very well like this film. But let me go ahead and get more into the review. This one's directed by Flying Lotus, who did films like Kuso, Ozzy's, and the short film Ozzy's Dungeon, which was a portion of VHS 99, which I enjoyed. I thought it was pretty cool. And if you've seen, I haven't seen Kuso, but if you've seen the Ozzy's Dungeon portion of VHS 99 and then you watch this film, you'd be like, oh yeah, I see where this is the exact same person who directed the other one. Like, it's a specific style for sure. Written by Jonni Remmler, who did Das Quartet. I haven't seen that. It has Aaron Paul in it, by the way, which people would most know from Breaking Bad. Does a great job as usual because very seasoned actor. Again, Shudder exclusive, coming Friday, June 20th. So, quick synopsis of this one: it's a woman who wakes up on another planet and has to figure out basically what happened because her whole crew is dead. And then she runs into a person played by Aaron Paul, and then it's kind of like, what is going on here? What's the danger that's happening on this planet, and can she get out of there? Like I said, I mean, there's not a whole lot of story to this, so literally that's all I can give you as far as the synopsis goes, and that's all of the story, pretty much. So, when I saw it was written by by one person, I'm like, wasn't there much of a script to this? I don't know, but from a visual standpoint, good stuff. We'll talk about it more. The beginning has some pretty wild images that get you pumped for what you may end up seeing as the film progresses. And yes, again, like I said, if you're looking for a very fun visual ride, this would be that film. Although, if you're not the type of person who can just be lost in the visuals all the time and you need better pacing, this may not be the film for you because pacing kind of goes very up and down. There are definitely those moments where it's just like hitting you kind of hard and fast, and the visuals are like, oh wow, oh awesome, that's so cool. And then there are times where you're just like, yeah, I mean, the visuals are cool, but like, can we move this movie along? Can we do something instead of just having this same conversation or seeing these same flashbacks? Because they do this flashback thing in the film, which is fine for the small story aspect of it, but they kind of do it too much, and it gets to a point where you're just like, okay, we get it. We understand what you're trying to get through with these flashbacks, and you're showing us basically the same flashbacks for the most part, so let's just move on. So yeah, next one, I do dig the lighting color choices. It gives a really cool aesthetic. You will see some of the colors that are featured in my video back here showing up in the film. Love those types of things when it comes to very visually pleasing films, which this one is. So love these types of colors showing up in those films, plus more. Early on, it definitely feels like, oh, this is heavily inspired by Alien, the whole Alien franchise, which honestly, watching this film just makes me want to go watch the Alien franchise. Because that has a lot of story to it and it's very original. This is a very unoriginal film. Very unoriginal. It's, again, just mainly about the style of everything. It does start to feel like the film is visuals over substance because of the slow pacing with a bunch of cool stuff to look at. Like I already said, that's kind of redundant. About 40 minutes in is when things get more interesting, but then it starts to kind of backpedal because you get stuck. It's one of these things where they'll move the story slightly forward at certain intervals, and then it just feels like it's stuck and spinning its wheels for a while, and you're just like, I'm ready for the next thing. Like, when are we getting to the next interesting thing? Not much story. So, the performances are good. I already talked about how Aaron Paul was, but I will say that Isa Gonzalez, who plays the main character, did a great job, especially her emoting. Her facial expressions throughout this film were excellent, and I would like to see more from her in the future. And I know a lot of other people who watch this film are also going to totally fall for her in this role and just be like, wow, what a great performance. You can, in addition to finding a lot of enjoyment with the visuals, find a lot of enjoyment in particularly just her performance. So that's a 2 thumbs up on that one. The pacing is slow. Already talked about that. There are portions that are done in found footage style, and they're done quite well, which, VHS 99, having done a portion for that, Flying Lotus showed that they can do found footage. So it's this very obvious thing, or just like, oh, they just kind of used what they did last and kind of did similar thing. But it looks good. I'm not a found footage person, but for people who are, they'll see that portion and be like, oh, nice. Good found footage portion right there. So yeah. The CGI looks good at times and not good at all at other times. And it's one of these situations where low lighting or almost no lighting will help kind of mask wonky edges of not great CGI. And so it works in those instances, or also when it's not being focused on like for really long periods of time. But then they have those moments where it's like very well lit and they're focusing very much on the CGI and it looks bad. Like it looks like 90s bad at times, kind of. Like not 100%, but kind of like aspects of what made 90s CGI look bad. You could see there and just be like, oh, I thought we learned about this to kind of make it better. But very up and down with the CGI. The costuming is really good in this film. I loved it. Very interesting to look at. It just kind of goes along with the cool visuals. There are really cool flourishes that they kind of add to the space suits that you'll end up seeing in this film, which, they're not always wearing like space suits, but the designs of those I think are particularly cool from a visual standpoint. Very nice. Whoever did the costuming, wonderful job on this one. The score is good overall. But there are times where they go a little too hard on it. There are also times where the composition of it feels like it's kind of clashing with the film itself. But for the most part, pretty solid. Just not solid all the way through. And then the ending is just okay. And let me say this. The ending is okay for accepting that this is a film that's not going to go big on the story. And so therefore, it's not going to have like this amazing reveal at the end or some awesome, satisfying story that kind of all comes full circle at the end of the film. Just, figuring out what your expectations are before you get to the end of the film. It was an okay ending, but just okay. So what I would say to people is if this is a film that looked like was one you really were interested in because of the visuals, because of the music that's used in it, and because of, like being space-based, I would actually point you more towards something else that's already on Shudder right now called Blood Machines. It is a 3-part series that was done by Carpenter Brute, who is a musical artist, and that is more what you're looking for. Blood Machines is great. If you want just outstanding music, really cool visuals, and it's all space-based, and there's a little more story to it, actually, than this film, I would highly recommend Blood Machines. It's a very fun visual ride with pretty good pacing, honestly. So check out Blood Machines if you haven't. So my overall review for Ash, out of 5 stars, half stars in play, I'm going to go a 3-star rating. I think overall I did like it for its strengths, although there were a lot of weaknesses with it, but overall I liked it, so I'd give it a 3 stars. Really can't go higher than that. For a bit I was thinking, oh, maybe 3.5 because it looks so good in the acting and costuming, and I was just like, oh no, the story's just not there, and the pacing's not fully there either, so it's got to be a 3-star rating for me, but that's still good, So this is where I'd like to hear from you. What did you think of the film? If you've seen it, go ahead and put it in the comments, and we could talk spoilers in the comments, because really, there aren't a whole lot of spoilers to be had with this film, unfortunately. But do me a favor and hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Would greatly appreciate that support. Thumbs up on the video is another way to support me for free. If you want to do something that's not for free, I do have memberships for a very small fee each month. Link in the description. And I think it starts at like $1.99. Yeah, like $1.99. And you get perks at each level. They kind of increase, obviously, so you can kind of check that out. But also, if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos, hit the notification bell button. There, I did all the things. Anyway, thank you everyone for checking this out, and until next time, keep it brutal.